All right. So welcome everybody. We did chapter 22 last week. Right now we will be using this first 2 minutes, couple of minutes to wait for a couple of students, so at least we could get a half beyond. We are almost beyond half now. At least if we get 17, we should be good. We're at 14 now, which is beyond 50%. Actually, I always want like a 75% to start. And a lot of times the first minute, the recap that we do, most of the time, I pick from stuff that are very controversial and very repetitive in the test. The certification exam. All right. So being on time, it's very, very good because you get those leads and you are actually going to benefit from those leads when it comes to the test. And when some of them are so practical too, it will be handy when you go for the clinicals or when you start working. So today, I think the number has been better than yesterday as to punctuality. So but as we wait for them, this is what I want you to recap now. I will need 5 people to make mention of the PPEs that we have. What the attack, which units of the attack that we use at the decon or at our facility constitutes the PPE. We talk of the PPEs. I want 5 people to mention one each. Things that make up the PPE, the personal protective equipment.
The face shield.
The facial.
Gloves.
That's the face shield. Yeah, okay. And then the mask 2. Yes, what again?
Gloves.
The gloves 3.
Shoe covers.
Good. 4. And then the last one?
The gown.
The gown. Good job. You guys got to clap for yourselves. All right. So now you got all 5, okay? So with this all 5, another controversial point that crops up is how to put them on. On the book, they say the donning of the PPE. Technically, what they do is they call it the donning of it. The donning, like putting it on, and the doffing, which is putting it off, getting it off. Donning and doffing of the PPE. It's very controversial, but we're settling it today once and for all. This, what I'm giving you is as per the HSPA and the CDC recommendations. So if it comes in a test, those are certified actual recommendations from those 2 powerful organizations, the HSPA and the CDC. That's where I reference this from. If you want to take notes of it, take it, because as I said, it's very controversial. Nobody will get a time to give it to you like this. It's in the book, but I'm giving it to you direct. So you can refer in the book later on, at least I think on page 77 of the new edition, you could get it from there. So the donning of the PPE, as per the CDC recommendations, once you put on your scrubs, which is the normal scrubs that we wear that you see the healthcare workers wearing, you have it on, you get to your facility. The first thing you do is your hand sanitizing your hands, the hand hygiene, which you're going to wash your hands. And then you go to the donning of the PPE. And as per CDC, the first thing you do is to put on the jumpsuit or the gown, all right? You put on the gown. And then after the gown, you put on the mask, okay? After the mask, you put on your face shield. Then after your face shield, you put on your shoe covers. After your shoe covers, you put on your gloves, all right? And then you ensure that the gloves actually cover the cuffs of your of the gown, all right? The cuffs of the gown must be inside the gloves. The cuff of the gown must not be over the gloves. The gloves must actually cover the cuffs of the gown. Any questions? Just the order that I gave you is what you need to preserve and use. Okay? It's possible it could be on the test, fine. If not, it's too bad. Most of the time it could be there because it's a tricky issue that a lot of times, even the educators, if they are not able to find sources, it's difficult for them to put it up. Is the director on our line now? Is the director in here or no?
Yes, Professor
You
John.
want to do the recording? Do you want to carry out with the recording?
No, continue.
Okay. So I'm just
All right.
recapping the donning and doffing of the PPE. All right.
All right, no
So
problem.
that is it. Okay. And then I hope you guys are taking notes of this because it's a controversial issue. Very, very controversial. So this one I'm giving you, I said it's recommended by the CDC and also HSPC. The HSPA upholds it. And then the doffing, which is removing it, the first one you take off is the shoe covers. And then you take the gown and the gloves, but those ones should be taken in combination. Remember, the gown, the cost of the gown are going to be within the gloves. So you take it out in combination. Then the third one will be to remove the face shield. After that, you remove the mask. And then the next one is your head cover. Then you do your hand washing. Alrighty? I hope you took notes of this. Okay. Are there any questions about that? There's just a bonus that I gave you, okay, before we go on our subject. All right, so I'm going to start sharing. I think we have 22, which is good. I'm going to start sharing, so we're going to start our formal lectures today. Any questions? Any questions from anyone? Do you guys see my screen now? Success through communication?
Yeah.
All righty, good. Okay. So that's what we're going to do today. I have two big questions for you guys. Why central service technicians must actually use effective communication? Why do we have to do that? Can anybody tell me anything about that? Why must we do that? Effective communication. Why? As our job is to get this thing sterilized, but why must we use effective communication and human relation skills? Why do we have to do that?
To have the trays ready for the operations.
Okay, that is one aspect of it. We have, but then how is communication going to help us get these instruments ready for the operations and the procedures?
Communicating effectively with the OR.
Definitely. Okay. Because they will come and get the trays. Remember, they will be coming to you for these trays. They don't have them at their unit. So they will have to communicate to you. Then you also have to respond to them. Oh, do you have these instruments? Yes, I have it. It's over there. Or it's in the autoclave. It's going to be ready in 30 minutes. That is, we're communicating. All right. So there must be communication and understanding before these instruments can exchange hands and get to where they're supposed to go. This is just a basic explanation of our communication. We will get into the definitions actually. All right. And then when we talk of professionalism, what can you say about professionalism? If we say someone is a professional, what can you say about it? How does it sound to you? They say, oh, this guy, he's a professional. He has a profession.
He has quality in what he does.
He has quality. That's one of them. He has quality on what he does. Okay. What else can you get from there?
Following protocols and
Good job.
and
See?
standard.
Standard. Okay. Any more?
Like expert.
He's an expert. Good.
He's a pro.
Yeah, that's a professional. Okay. So you see that these are not new terms to us. They are not new terms to us. And so I always give you relative examples. So it means that they are not new to us. We know who is a professional. He has quality, he has expertise. Fine. And then when we talk of expertise, professionals have specialized knowledge and skills in their field. And then we talk of their integrity. Then we talk of their accountability. Then we talk of continuous learning, which we're going to be doing. So even looking at these four qualities, you are definitely going to be a pro in the next couple of days. And when you are done with this, because you are going to be an expert in this field, you have to show integrity. You must be accountable for whatever you do. And then you have to engage yourself in continuous education. All right. So before I go on to the first slide, I think right now you guys have something out that has told you about, okay, we have to communicate and we must be professionals. So let's go to our first slide here. And it says it gives us basic definitions of the communication and human relations, which are going to be our two key issues to decide on today how we're going to do them or how we should do them. And communication here is about transmitting information through verbal and non-verbal. The point is communication, as I said, if we want to go into details, which may not be, we may think that that's maybe below us or something. It could be below us, but the point is it is a critical thing that we will need to do. Communication has other factors in it, such as the sender, the message, the recipient, and then the feedback. These are all units within the communication system that must work, because if there's no sender who is communicating or talking to you, and there's no message or language, what do you receive and how do you understand it? How do you decipher it? How do you interpret it? And what feedback do you give him? Based on the feedback, he's also going to respond, and then we can understand each other and do what the other expects this one to do. All right. So we'll go into it, but as we go, keep your mind on that. It's not a new thing. You understand, we talk to people every time. Just that this time is being very formal, and we're breaking it up academically to see that, oh, these are certain units. We need this, we need that. Like we spoke about fire yesterday, the fire triangle, saying that we need a combustible material, we need ignition, and then we need what? Oxygen. The same way, this communication needs a sender, a message, a recipient, and then feedback to make it complete, okay? So we'll continue from there. So today we are going to actually engage ourselves with communication, human relations, which is building effective interpersonal relationships for teamwork. And then the jargons. Jargons are more like technical terms that we use in certain professions, all right? They are specialized terms only familiar to those in the profession. Before, when I was in secondary school, one jargon that I used to, it wasn't a jargon as such, but you know how lawyers always say, I'll put it to you when they're in court and they're defending a case and they put it up, I'll put it to you that so. That was something that was so funny to me. So the students that were always eager to be lawyers, anytime I'm talking to them, I say, I'll put it to you that this and that and that. Okay. But then here at the Sterile, I told you, you go out there, we tell, oh, go and cook this instrument. You don't say go and cook it like you're cooking rice. They will mean go and put it in the sterilizer. Okay. There are going to be jargons out there, but they have to understand them. If I say BI, you understand it. Somebody from the OR may not understand the BI. We are talking of a biological indicator. And when I tell, is there a BI in the instrument set? Yeah, there's a BI in there. That's a jargon. Okay. They are simple terms. You get them when you get out there. Any questions? All right. So the importance of communication and human relations. Effective interpersonal skills are essential in our job. I don't like saying that as technicians, but I only say it as professionals. Okay? Effective interpersonal skills. Certain things that we do between we, the humans, you and your co-workers. If it's effective, I mean, there's a sender, there's a recipient, there's understanding, there's a feedback. That is essential for us. Because if there is no understanding and no feedback, what do? We are stuck. We can't go any further. Okay? So we go back to communication, saying that sharing information by words, tone, or body language. When you can say yes, and then you can say yes. It's two different things, even though it's the same yes. Do we believe that, or do we agree to that? Do we agree to that? Somebody says, oh, can you do this for me? Yeah, yes, I'm gonna do it. And then somebody asks you, can you do this for me? Yes, I'll do it. Does it have the same response? It may be all yes, but it doesn't mean the same thing, because my body language at the second one will be a negative or passive aggressive one. Okay? So that is the thing. So that when we're sharing this information, it should be shared in the right mood with the right body language. Okay? Human relations building and maintaining productive relationships or interpersonal relationships on the job. All right? Go there and be a good person and get used to everybody and just accept and tolerate everybody there on the job. After work, you don't have to talk to anybody. But once you are there, please tolerate everybody. The word here is tolerance. Okay? so that you can maintain a productive interpersonal relationship with everybody. All we're doing today is telling you that it's very necessary that you have good communication and good human relations. All right, so the CS technicians are directly tied to patient health and safety. And that is why communication is good for us, okay? We are directly tied to patient health and safety, okay? Beyond technical knowledge, we must effectively interact with our colleagues, our vendors, our cross-departmental staff. When you go to, like at my place, a lot of times when I'm walking around, almost I get in touch with a lot of people and we talk, we do stuff, the housekeeping people, the security, the nurses, the front desk people, the technicians, the engineers that come in to do repairs on our autoclaves and stuff, and even transporters that come in to pick up instruments for other hospitals. You have to interact with them, and it has to be effective interaction. Don't just, he says, oh, I'm taking this. You say, what address? He gives you medicine. Then you give it to him. No, talk to the person. Get a better relation with the person so that anytime there's a problem, he will not feel like it's not going to be difficult for him to tell you. Or if you have a problem, it's not going to be difficult to tell him. Okay? So that there's going to be some harmony between you and almost all the stakeholders. Communication will be good. Relations will be good. It's not about anything else but harmony and getting the work done. So as a professional, your communicative, the communicative person like you, who is a professional, your communication should ensure optimal team performance and a positive work environment. Do we all agree with that?
Yes.
Good one. Okay. So that is what we are going out there to do. We're going out there as professionals. We're going to make sure we communicate properly to ensure optimal team performance so that we can get the patient care that we want out there for our patients to be happy, just the same way we want to be happy when we are in that position. Okay? All right. So why these skills matter in CS? This is what I've almost emptied already. Interpersonal skills will help you as a technician, you as a professional, to understand the needs and perspectives of others. You don't have to just look at them, but if you have the right interpersonal skills, you are going to understand their needs and perspectives. They will say certain things to you that you have been talking to people about it all the time. So as soon as he starts it, you know, oh, this person is in this situation and he's going to need that. This is his perspective here. I should be able to go this way. All right. You will function well within these team structures. And by functioning well there, you are going to contribute to a positive work environment, which is the goal that we're all looking for. Okay, so these skills apply on and off the job. Influencing professionalism is a reputation. Like, was it sometime I took my daughter to school. She's 4 years old to a pre-K. And then as soon as I had my work jacket on, as soon as she said, oh, that's the hospital that I was born. I said, what? He said, yes, my mom said I was born at Mount Sinai. And I said, which one? He said, okay, the one uptown here on, I think Morningside or somewhere. And I said, okay, good. I'm not there though. I'm at 14th Street. He said, okay, I was born over there. He said, Madison, yeah. And I said, oh, that's great. Okay. So you look at that. That was off the job, right? So if this person saw me with this logo on my shirt doing something bad, what do you think was going to be his or her what was he going to think? Or what was going to be her opinion about me and then that hospital? Okay? So this tells you that these skills apply on and off the job. We telling you to be courteous, to actually contribute to a positive environment. When you're off the job, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be a whole human being having a whole nature that is going to be positive, positive, positive. Getting the work done, getting the environment safe, and getting patient care where we want it to get to. Any questions? So in the real world, it's something that is what I just said, that I went to a school and they looking like the logo telling me, oh, I was born in this hospital. Okay. That is in the real world. These things are going to be applied there. So when you go to the field, which means you're going to the facility, to a hospital, to the SPD, you are going to interact with your peers and supervisors. You're going to interact with staff from other departments. patients, families, and facility visitors. All right. There's not going to be a clear-cut definition there telling you that at this time we're going to meet a patient. No, but it could happen in the lobby. It could happen in the elevator. Okay. You can meet the vendor in the elevator and he starts talking to you about it. This time these engineers came around, they were talking to me about things that are happening in the hospital years before before I came there. All right. And it gave me an insight to what problems we had and how our machines were performing and how long they've been trying to fix certain machines and how they even get parts to fix it. See, those are some of the things. But the more you interact with people, the more you get to know your department better and get to help people better. That's where you create that positive environment. Okay. Every interaction reflects on you, the individual, the department, and also the healthcare facility. Any questions? So all I'm saying is that your professionalism must go beyond the workplace, even off the job. Your words and your actions reflect on you, the technician, your employer, and then it brings about the public perception of the facility that you work for. All right. Your professional behavior must be something like letting your light shine wherever you are. All right. You must let your light shine. You must show your professionalism wherever you are. Any questions? Are we all good with how we're going? Or am I moving too fast?
I think you're okay.
Okay, good one. All right. So long as the females are good, I know the males are good too. Okay. Okay. So common communication barriers. There are so many ways that you may be communicating to somebody, but then there's going to be something blocking your communication so that there's no understanding coming, or he's not even hearing you, or he's not even responding. All right. So technically, we put it up this way. Examples of poor communication, that is the communication that doesn't yield the result, that doesn't get to the recipient, or it's not even able to come out of the sender. All right, that's poor communication. And this may come about with vague questions where you ask questions like, can you come early? Come early when? How early? So that was a vague question. Can you come early? Where am I coming to? And what time do I have to come? That's a vague question. So in this case, we consider that as poor communication. Then ambiguous request. Ambiguity is more like difficult to understand. It's like more of like a baseless thing that the person just put up, which your mind cannot even wrap. You can't wrap your mind around it. Like, oh, send the old instrument Dr. Smith used. Which old instrument did Dr. Smith use? Which old instrument? Instruments have names. And which Dr. Smith? If we have only one Dr. Smith, that's fine. All right. But which instrument was that? So just maybe send the old micro drill that Dr. Smith used. Okay, no, now you've narrowed it to a micro drill that Dr. Smith used. But then you can even make it better by saying that send the micro drill that Dr. Smith used today or used yesterday. All right, or his favorite micro drill. So that you narrow it down, make it more understandable, so that the person, without asking any other question, is able to say, okay, if you used it yesterday, then I can track it, locate it and find it. Okay, he used it yesterday, it's right there. Maybe say the old instrument. Some instruments have been there for years. Okay? And they've been used over and over. So which old instrument am I going to get? This is an ambiguous request. We have to avoid those things. Incomplete answers. It's in the sterilizer. Okay, where is the micro drill? It's in the sterilizer. My job, we have 8 sterilizers. 8 sterilizers. So I ask you, where is the micro drill? And then you answer me. You see that from now, we have left the sender. We are now at the recipient, right? I asked you, you are being the recipient now, and then I asked you, where is the micro drill? And then you answer by saying, it's in the sterilizer, okay? The sterilizer, which one? Then I have to ask you about. But if you answered by saying that in sterilizer number 1 or in sterilizer number 2, don't you think that would be straightforward? That would be a complete answer. But then you said in the sterilizer. Which sterilizer? So your answer is incomplete. That is some kind of poor communication. And a lot of times, I know Okay, some people, when you ask them questions, they also answer your question with a question. All right? Where's the macro drill? Instead of the person saying that, oh, it's in serializer number 1, he's rather going to ask you, which macro drill? Which macro drill? Okay. So if I say that, okay, where is the macro drill that came for a quick turn? All right. Then you know that, okay, there was a macro drill that came in and had to be turned back quickly. Then your answer also must also be complete, saying that, oh, it's in autoclave number 2. All right. Or autoclave number 3. At my job, we have number 3 and number 2 that are very close to us. 5 is a bit distant, and 1 is also closer a little bit. But most of the time, such quick turns, we take them to number 3 or number 2, which are just across. Sometimes some say across the street, but it's just across the whole way. But there's a lady around there who always say that, oh, it's across the street. But it's just across the hallway, just in the same building. Okay? Those are the kind of things, if you're hearing them, you have to get used to those things. Okay? All right. So that is it. So check the biological and get them to 8. Which 8? What is that? To room 8? Or which place is that? Or to autoclave 8? There's a jargon that we just used. But the point is, it's confusing. So I say, okay, check the biological and get them to 8. So I can tell you, check the biological in maybe incubator number 1 and get them to sterilizer number 8. All right? Or maybe take it from incubator 1 to incubator number 8. I specific. So even if I'm using jargons, they should be used appropriately to generate the response, or maybe to complete the communication, not being in a poor situation, but in a more understandable situation. Okay. So whether it's a jargon, all we want complete answers, complete, clear questions, meaningful questions that are easy to understand, so that we can also decipher quickly and give you a response. All right. So the key point here is that clear, complete communication is vital to prevent errors. All right. And that is what we call a situation where you prevent poor communication. So to prevent poor communication, your communication must be clear and complete. Are we all on the same page? I believe we're all on the same page. Okay. So we need complete communication. It has to be clear. No ambiguity there. All right. So professional technicians, look at you, professional CS technicians. Your characteristics as professionals is going to show here. You must show pride in your work and maintain a positive attitude. I've said it more than 3 times now. You are skilled, you are knowledgeable, and you follow policies because you are a professional. You contribute fully to team success and meet performance standards because you are a professional. You communicate effectively and support others because you are a professional. You are ethical, you are self-confident, you are respectful, you are courteous, and talking about hygienic, you always practice your hygiene, your hand hygiene, your hand washing, staying clear of every clean and dirty and sterilized things that you don't have to mix up, and then practicing your aseptic techniques. Right? You are a professional. You learn from your mistakes and continually seek improvement. This page is something that we have to actually write down and keep it. Okay? Because you need it. That is mostly what you're going to be doing. That is what makes you a professional. All right? So professionals are part of licensed or certified occupations. All right, we are preparing you to go and take a certification exam. What does that mean? You are going to be licensed or you're going to be certified. Definitely, you are a professional. That is another criteria that we can use to classify professionals. So you are going to strive to go the extra mile for team and patient safety, because that's what we're training you for. You are going to maintain courtesy, responsibility, and dedication. You are going to build effective relationships with supervisors and staff. You see, promotions and respect are more likely for professionals who are cooperative, and that is what you should do. If you expect yourself to be promoted in there as a professional, to be respected there, you have to actually be cooperative. You must be dependable. Your directors can entrust you with a lot of things to do. You must be ambitious to go forward and must be team focused. You are not doing anything in isolation. All righty? Any questions? Okay. So as you're going there too, your professionals also have, your employers also have a role to play. All right? They have to actually give you a clear job description as to what you are supposed to do there. What time are you supposed to be there? What time do you clock in? And what work are you going to do specifically? All right. What are you not supposed to do? Your safe working conditions. Where do I get my scrubs? Where do I get my PPEs? All right. Where is employee health? What do I do when if I get injured? Okay, training for current task and future advancement has to be the job of your management. They have to do it and let you take part. All right. And a teamwork oriented environment has to be everybody's job then. Right? Don't isolate yourself, as I said. And when they try to put you in teams, please respond to it and make good use of it, because working in a team, I spoke yesterday about combined efforts. That is where you get that combined effort, right? Policies and procedures that are transparent must be there too. That is the job of the management. You need fair job performance evaluations. And if any of these are lacking, staff should discuss concerns with supervisors constructively. All right, there's a reason why we're talking of constructively. You don't just go and harass your supervisor claiming that he gave you an unfair evaluation. Go there, approach him, and have a constructive discussion. Okay? Moral, legal, and ethical standards. Moral behavior, doing what is right. Okay? Legal compliance, following the laws, the regulations, and internal policies. And then ethical conduct includes honoring patient privacy and dignity, respecting religious beliefs and property, and then using resources wisely and working with integrity. All right? You must uphold these standards to protect patients and maintain public trust. There was, with this, saying that respecting religious beliefs and property. Back home, I was doing a project in an Islamic community, right? I'm a Christian. I belong to the Christian religion. I went there, I saw a school building that was very, very appalling. I said, look, I have to find a way to look for funds for this school so that we can put out a better school for this community. And it was an Islamic community. I went there. I spoke to them that, guys, we have to work on this. This situation is bad. I know you know it's bad. We have to change it. They said, yeah, we can do it. So if you can help us, we will do it. I said, fine. Who are your leaders? They said, oh, they gave me names, what? I said, fine. I took it upon myself to go and look for those leaders at the assembly. I got them. So I came for the next meeting with the community, like in a month. And imagine me it's in an Islamic community. It was a meeting of about 60 people, adults, trying to find ways that we're going to actually take care of this community development project. So in speaking to them, what I found myself saying at the end of one of my statements was, hallelujah. And they all answered, Amen. Say, oh my God, this has worked. Okay. So you see that it was about tolerance. They knew that I was a Christian, but I've come to an Islamic community and I'm working with them. They tolerated it. All right. And I also tolerated them going there because I know there's a difference in religion, but it's one people. And my job is to go there. That was tolerance. Okay. So those are the kind of things that we are going to be doing. We have to respect each other's religious beliefs and property. Okay. It could be funny, but the point is, it's not funny. It's real. And we have to do that. We have to uphold it. All right. Any questions? Okay. So respect and professional conduct in this department is a key to your success. Respect your co-workers, their rights and their beliefs. As I said, you have to be tolerant to other cultures because there's going to be a multiplicity of cultures. At my job, especially in New York, when you walk 2 blocks in New York, you meet people from around the world. Green ones, yellow ones, black ones, brown ones, white ones, you meet anything. All right? So as those, especially in New York, you already know it. Tolerate it. All right? Respect co-workers' rights and beliefs. Avoid gossip or any behavior that undermines the department's integrity. as professionals, you have to preserve personal morals without judging others. Follow legal limits of their role. Do not perform tasks outside their scope. Stay in that scope of your professionality. Stay in there. Don't go to the OR and give them instructions over there. Stay in your SPD and do your work there. If they call you and they need your help, there was a time they called me to the OR because the scrub techs were finding it difficult removing the plugs from one of the surgical towers, which was connected to a Wells Johnson. There's a Wells Johnson system that we use for some procedures like reducing fat, taking out fat, and using fat injectors and other things. So they called me in there. I went there. They said, "What? Which one do you have to?" They asked me, "Is this one disposable?" I said, "No." "Is that one disposable?" I said, "No." Have to unplug them and do your pre-cleaning, then bring them to the decon. I said, "Fine." I just did it, and that was it. Okay, that was what I needed to do. I didn't have to touch instruments in there. All I had to do is tell them which one was disposable and which ones were not, and how they should take care of it and bring it to the decon. I wasn't there to give them instructions about, "Oh, why have you guys done this? Why have you guys done?" No, I stayed within my scope. And they did that, bought it, and then I also did my job. So follow those things, all right? Preserve your personal morals without judging others. Maintain accurate records. Strictly follow written instructions. When you go to take instrument, when the instruments come to the decon, there are certain instruments that will come, like the scopes, they come with certain tags on them about patient information. Please record them accordingly with the time and everything, exactly, accurately, because there's a reason why they come with all those information. So it's going to come as soon as they bring it. "Oh, this scope, who brought it? There's supposed to be this tag on it. I don't have it. Who sent it here?" Then the front desk will actually notify you who sent it and get a tag for you to put it on, so you can do the right, the accurate recordings for that very scope. All right. So you have to maintain accurate records, whether in the decon or in the clean side. Anything that requires documentation, please do it accurately. All right. Accuracy is another key here. Ethics in daily decision making. You have to be very ethical on the job, because remember, it's about patient care. We've spoken about this over and over. Ethical behavior aligns with professional standards of right and wrong. So, like, ignoring a coworker's time theft affects team integrity. You see this person that you're going to work with. He clocks in at 3, fine. Okay. At 3:30, he says, "I'm going for a break." Then he goes for a break, 3:30, and come back at 4 o'clock. He works for another 30 minutes. He says, "I'm going to use the bathroom." He goes and come back at, that's 4 o'clock. 4:30, he went to the bathroom. And then he come back by 5. He used another 30 minutes in the bathroom. That's 1 hour already. Then after another 30 minutes, he has been on the job for 3 hours. He says, "Okay, now I have to take my break," which is a legal break. Then he takes another hour. So now, how many hours has he taken? 2 hours already on the job. A job that requires 1 hour break over the 8-hour period. He has already taken 2 hours. What is he doing? That is time theft. All right? And then he leaves the department maybe by 10 o'clock. When he's supposed to leave at 11, he will leave the department. Say, "Okay, I'm going to change and go home." It's 10 o'clock. You're supposed to leave at 11. Look at 1 whole hour to go and change and clock out and leave. That's another hour. So you have actually stolen 3 hours minus your legal hour break. You've stolen 2 hours. That is time theft. All right. So if you see it, what are you going to do? Ignoring that affects your team integrity. And when the problem crops up, the whole team is going to be affected. Okay? You have to know how to act in this kind of situations. Your decision making must be very, very, very accurate. And then if there's anything to talk to that person, you can even talk, "Oh, maybe what you're doing may give us a problem, please. If they ask me, I cannot lie about this. I'm going to tell them this is it. So please change it." If it doesn't, and you report and you are asked and you say the right thing, there's no mistake. You are
Question.
only maintaining. Yeah, hello?
We spoke about workplace, like, issues yesterday, starting issues, minding your business, or, don't go do politics.
Yeah.
How do you handle their situation by
Yeah.
avoiding that.
Good. That is one of the things that I said is very critical. This is a critical situation. But if the person is a peer, right? You could find a friendly way to tell him, hey, man, this thing that you're doing may give us problems because we have a legal 1 hour break. But the way you taking 30 minutes break, don't you think that if anybody should see this, it's going to be a problem for us? That is your side. You haven't accused him, but then you advise him that if anybody sees it apart from you, it's going to be a problem. So please, let's find a way to take care of this. Some people, when you say this, they will take it. If he doesn't take it, and then maybe your supervisor chances on you and asks, I've seen that this guy's productivity is so low, you have nothing to do but to tell your supervisor the right thing. All right? So as a peer, you could have said it friendly to him that, hey, man, this thing may not work well if it's uncovered by our seniors. Please, let's work. We are working in a group. Let's work safely. All right? It's like a caution to him. You haven't gone into his business, though. This is the business of the team. All right? This is the business of the team. So to maintain that team integrity, at least you have alerted him. It's up to him as a professional that has been trained the same way to make sure that time theft ceases. If he doesn't and anything crops up, that is his business. You haven't gone into his business. All right? Anybody has anything to say about this? This is not politics. You didn't play politics there. All right? But you caution your peer that, look, we were trained to do the right thing. But I don't think you're doing the right thing now. Please, let's desist, or if a problem crops up, we're all going to be in it. But at that point, he doesn't take it. Then later on, your director comes in and says, I've seen this guy doing this and that. What? You can't lie about it. Okay? You cannot lie about it. So you have to maintain your integrity and then the integrity of the team. Anybody has any questions around this? When we tell you to mind your business on the job, it's about people doing certain things, maybe they discussing their issues, home issues on the job, right? You don't have to worry about it or care about it. They can decide on what they're doing about their home. Fine. Don't go in and try to advise them. Mind your business. Fine. If they're taking stuff from there, you can, on a friendly note, say that, this thing, we're trained not to do it. So, guys, if you are doing it, be careful because it could bring a problem. It's just an advice that you gave them. You didn't judge them because we have to stay away from judging people. So the way you approach them and the way you say it will actually have a meaning and an impact. So know how to approach these things. If not, you can discuss it with your friend or your leader there that, oh, this is happening. What do we do about this? Okay? It's not about just going to report them to the supervisor but even within the peers, you can discuss it with a peer and say, oh, I've also seen it. Maybe let's talk to him and see what he says. All right? So we have to be very, very diligent. That is the word here. We have to be very diligent in what we do and what we say. Anyone has a question about this? Because it's a very thorny issue. It's very difficult, especially some people, approaching them is difficult. But that is the thing. Your team integrity is at stake. So you have to find a way to communicate properly, appropriately, to get it across. If he doesn't and it crops up, you cannot lie about it. You have to testify in the right way. Are we okay with that? Because you see the next line says that the CS text must act even when it feels like none of my business. Okay? Because in this situation, you can say, okay, he's cheating the department. It's none of my business. But the point is that you must act at times when it's none of your business. Because this is a team thing, team integrity at stake. All right? So use this ethical checklist. Is what the person doing, is it legal? Could it harm anyone? Is it honest and fair? What are the consequences? And would I be okay if this became public? So answering these questions here should tell you what to do. All right, looking at the situation of the time theft, is it legal? Can anybody answer that question? Is it legal, the time theft? Punching in and 30 minutes going for break and then going for another break in another 30 minutes. Is that legal? Is that a regulation that we should that is approved?
No.
No,
But-
anything after theft is illegal.
Good. You see? So could it harm anyone? As at this point, it cannot harm you directly or harm anybody. But the point is it honest and fair? What is the answer to that? Is it honest and fair?
No.
No. All right. So out of these 5 questions, we've had 2 that are no. All right. What are the consequences? Is it going to affect you as a team member too?
Yes.
Good. So what should we do then? We have to act. So that this actually mirrors the statement where he said that even when it feels like none of my business, answering these questions makes it part of your business. Okay? So in this situation, it fits that you actually take it in a friendly manner and say, okay, this is what we have to tell you because it's an alert. Please take care of it and don't let it happen. Because if it happens, it's an honest, it's dishonesty and unfair to us. It's illegal, and it has consequences that may affect us. All right. So we are all on the same page now that we have to act at times when it feels like it's none of our business. Are we all okay with that?
Yes.
All righty. So you see, it's good the way we're putting it up because this is a very thorny issue and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You're going to meet people like that. So you have to be very careful how you approach it. And that is what I said. You have to be very diligent when it comes to those things. Okay? All right. So the basics of the communication, as we said earlier, it's not just talking, but ensuring that the message is received and understood, which I said earlier. It involves speaking and listening, which are the 2 components. But then when we talk of communication in itself, it's more than speaking and listening. There must be a speaker, there must be a listener, there must be a message, which is through a language or through a medium, and then there must be a feedback to ensure that the communication is complete. All right? But as what we've seen here says speaking, listening, feedback, at least that is good for us at our job. But technically, communication involves more than speaking, listening, and feedback. Okay? The role of the feedback. How is the feedback going to help you? And what does it involve? It involves asking clarifying questions. Okay, repeating or summarizing key points. Offering suggestions or ideas respectfully. So you see that even this third one goes back to where we said, even if it's none of your, it seems like it's none of your business, you could offer a suggestion to this person or an idea, but do it respectfully. All right? And that will work. Okay? So the role of the feedback also encourages better understanding and improves the chain of command so that when there's better understanding and you give instructions, the work goes on so that the chain of command is good. So that if your supervisor gives an instruction and it's well understood, you know what to do, your colleagues know what to do. So this improves the chain of command. Whatever instruction is given is deciphered the right way, understood the right way, so the action is going to be taken, and then we get the results that we want. If communication doesn't work right, or we're having poor communication, it doesn't matter whether we are in the military or in the barracks, the chain of command will not work, and it will never improve. You tell the person, make a left turn, and he makes a right turn. It doesn't work. It doesn't matter whether it's the commander-in-chief that gave the instruction. It didn't work. It was poor communication. All right? Basic speaking skills for CS technicians. All right. To communicate effectively, you need to organize your message. Okay. Stick to a clear or main point. Organize your message. Speak with enthusiasm and confidence. Let people see that you know what you're talking about. Let them see it in you. Even without hearing you, they should see that you know what you're talking about. You have the interest and you have the confidence. Support your message with facts or examples. That's why I keep giving you guys indoor examples from your bedroom, examples from your living room. All right. So always try to support your message with facts or examples. When I spoke about the donning and doffing of the PPE, I told you that the source was from the CDC and the HSPA, which gives you the confidence that that is a genuine thing to do. All right. If I just said it to you like I'm saying it to you, you will not have the trust like that because there is a body that is in charge of that. But then I've told you those 2 powerful bodies have said it this way. Okay? That gives you a fact that, okay, this is something that supports my message. And then stay on topic. Avoid rambling. Avoid going around the bush, beating about the bush. No, stay on the topic. If the topic is about reading, stay on reading. If it's about writing, stay on writing. All right? Consider your listener's background. Look at the students that I'm talking to you. Most of you are professionals already. Most of you are highly educated already. Most of you have been heads of departments, whatever. Some of you are mothers, some of you are fathers, anything. All right? So I have to consider this before talking. And then when I'm talking, I have to, at times I tell you, I'm not too fast. Consider the pace that I'm going and the language that I'm using. All right? And a lot of times there's some difference between the British English and then the American English. But as of now, we're using both. There are some times I'll say certain thing that is more British. Forget about being British. I still come up with another example that is more American. All right. So it's all because of our background. All right. So always think of whoever is at the receiving point. What is his background? Is he going to understand the English that I'm speaking? Or I have to speak in Ashanti? Or I have to speak in Ewe or something for the person to get it? Or speak in Spanish? Okay. So consider the background of your listeners. And then use open-ended questions to encourage dialogue. Dialogue is about two-way communication. So, like, what's your name? It's open-ended. Okay? But if I come and call you, I say, are you Afia? I'm just giving you a question with an answer direct, a closed question. Are you Afia? Say yes or no. That's what he's going to say, yes or no. But if I say, what's your name? He may mention all her names. I was born on a Friday, so I'm Afia, but then my Christian name is Mary, Afia Mary, or this like that. Okay. So by saying that, like I see somebody say, are you from Ghana? I'll be so close. The person is like me, but that doesn't mean he's from Ghana. So I could ask, where are you from originally? That is open. From around the world. She's going to tell me all the stories about how and where she came from. Okay? So put a lot of open-ended questions to encourage dialogue. All right? That works when you're trying to communicate. Maintain a professional tone, language, and volume. You don't have to be using big words. I don't speak too much big words, but a lot of times, I remember I went to, there was a situation at my previous job, and then went to court. They were interviewing me, and I started speaking. I said, there were some people that were lined up in front of me. But you know, in British English, which is English, we say they were in a queue, right? So when I said the people, the customers were in a queue, the secretary was looking at me like he was confused. So the judge jumped in and said, no, don't worry about the secretary. Then he told me that, talk to me. Don't talk to the secretary. Talk to me. Okay, so he had to tell the secretary that it's about people in a line. He's speaking in the British English, so don't bother yourself with him. Now talk to me directly. Okay, so you see, it was nothing big, but it wasn't something conscious that I was doing, that trying to give her a word that she didn't know. But the point was that I was British trained. I was trained in Ghana. I studied in Ghana before coming here. So most of my terms will be more English. All right. So you have to consider that background. So the judge realized that, oh, I had a different background. So he had to communicate directly with me. Okay. So those are the kind of things that we have to know to ensure that communication is complete and it's understood. So you maintain the professional tone, your language, and then the volume. Any questions? All right. So basic listening skills for you as a professional, you have to focus on the main message being conveyed. They want an instrument by tomorrow morning. The message here is that this instrument for this doctor must be ready before tomorrow morning. Okay? Eliminate distractions and give full attention to the speaker. Don't be walking by when he's telling you that. You will come back and ask your colleagues what instrument was he even talking about. The main message was an instrument for a certain doctor, maybe Dr. Kojo or Dr. Salim or Dr. Mike has a tray that he needs tomorrow morning. And then he's telling you, make sure that tray is ready before tomorrow morning. If you don't listen to it, you're going to think that maybe he said, okay, that tray should be washed before tomorrow morning. No, being ready means it has to be sterilized before tomorrow morning. must be ready before tomorrow morning. So it must be sterilized before morning. But since you didn't pay attention, maybe you thought he said, oh, it must be washed before tomorrow morning. After washing, it needs almost another like 1 hour to dry and assemble it, and then put it in the autoclave for another 45 to 46 minutes, depending on what parameters, and then to cool down for another 20 minutes. Add it up and see. So if the case was the first case that's supposed to be 6 in the morning, and our workers that start work in the morning go there at 6 to test these machines. They have to test all these machines so that it will mean that even the 3 hours that the instrument requires to get to the sterilizer requires another 2 hours for the testing to be done before. So that's 5 hours from 6 plus 5. That's 11 a.m. That's when they're going to be ready. And this was a 6 a.m. case. All right. So you have to focus on the main message being conveyed. Eliminate distractions like walking around. Just listen, pay attention to whatever he's telling you. Avoid emotional bias or snap judgments. Listen objectively. Stay engaged. Don't say, oh, this trade, I don't like doing this trade. This doctor, he is messy. I don't like. No. Those are emotional bias or snap judgments. Forget about that. Your job is your job and you are a professional. So you have to do or show your professionalism. Listen objectively. Stay engaged even when the content seems familiar or unimportant. Okay? Respect differing viewpoints and be open to understanding other perspectives. So you can tell, oh, so do we have that instrument here? You say, okay, right, the instrument is being used at the OR. It's supposed to come back. So now you are going to expect the instrument from the OR. No matter what time it comes, you have to take care of this instrument because that was the message. The main message was to get that instrument ready before tomorrow morning. All right? And then we're talking of advanced listening skills, which is to be active and effective. You have to understand the speaker's core message before judging it. Core is more of the most underlying part of this message. What is the center of his message? Those people that did geography, you understand that this world, which is the globe, when you dig deep, there is the core of it, which is in the innermost part of the earth, of the globe. Those that did geography, I think I'm right? Is there anyone that did geography here in high school or in college? We have the core of the earth crust. It goes deep, 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 and you got the core right there. That is the main thing. Okay, so we're talking about the core of a message, the most underlying fact of the message. Okay? So listen to that. And then afterwards you can say, okay, this is what he means. Don't just judge it by what he's saying. Right? So understand the speaker's core message before judging it. And don't just focus on isolated facts. Listen for overall meaning. What you're saying was just about decongesting the hallway. Okay, so make sure your cats are not in the high traffic areas. Maybe he has seen your cat on the high traffic area saying that, look, I want this place decongested. The way he said it, the core of it was about decongesting the traffic areas, the high traffic areas. So go and clear it, and that is it. Or do some preventive maintenance, which is about sending certain instruments for maintenance. That's all he wanted. The scissors will go and they'll all be sharpened. All the hooks will all be sharpened. Those that have cracks will be removed, taken off. That is all he wanted. He wanted that preventive maintenance. So listen to the core before judging, oh, this is unnecessary, or it's not necessary. But remember, every information given to you at the SPD is necessary. Every information, whether it's about the printer or about feeding paper into the printer, anything that we tell you there is very necessary. All right? Because the cat can be very hot and they'll be telling you about the cat and you are not listening and you go and place it somewhere that somebody gets burnt. Was that necessary? You could have avoided if you listened attentively. Okay? All right. So observe non-verbal cues like facial expressions and body language. Make good use of everything that you can do to understand this communication process. Ask clarifying questions. Focus on the content of it, not the delivery style. Maybe the person was in a hurry and he was saying it and going. That doesn't mean you should also be listening to it and walking. No. If you have to follow him and get the right core of it, follow him. and get it, because you have to stay as a professional. You have to show your professionalism. All right? So focus on the content, not just the delivery. Allow the speaker to finish before forming your response, and take notes when dealing with complex or detailed information. There's no shame in taking notes when somebody's giving you information and you thinking, oh, I may forget it, let me write it down. There's no shame in that. You can do it anytime. And the person cannot tell you, don't write it down. No. That makes you comfortable, do it. Okay? Types of communication. Formal communication includes the supervisor coaching and giving instructions, the policies and procedures that are laid down, team meetings and training sessions. You're going to be seeing all that when you go to the field, which means when you go to a facility. Work schedules and performance reviews. These are all formal communication. Like all the signs you see on the doors, they tell you go this way, this is exit, this is all. They are supposed to be placed under formal communication because they show you what to do there. Then we have casual ones like informal communication, which includes team bonding and small talk, casual conversations before or after shifts with your colleagues. All right, that's informal. But the formal are the most of the official ones, more considered like more official. Okay, and then with the casual conversations, it's up to you. It's informal. It can be positive to build rapport or build relationships, or damaging, which is gossiping and rumors. Okay, note gossip can erode trust, increase stress, and reduce productivity. You don't want any of that. To avoid gossiping on the job. Any questions? Any questions? All right. So now we see telephone, email, and technology etiquette. What can you guys say about this? Is there etiquette is about courtesy on these technologies, the telephone, email, and technology courtesy. All right. That's etiquette. Can anybody say anything about this? Do you know anything about telephone, email, and technology etiquette or courtesy? Anyone can answer it, man or woman.
You're supposed to start with a greeting before you send your message.
Good job. There's supposed to be a greeting when you're writing a letter. There's a salutation, right?
Yes.
Dear sir, dear madam, dear director. When that. Okay. There should be. It's about courtesy, all right, and that's etiquette. So when you're on the phone, when you pick up the phone, what do you say? Hello, all right. Hello. You don't just pick and say what. Have you ever called somebody who just picked the phone and say what? Has anybody experienced anything like that before?
Unless the person calling owes you money.
That's true. That is so true. You see, if he owes you money, that's what he's going to say. What? That is so true. That's a perfect answer. All right. Other than that, the person is going to say hello. Okay. Hello. We look at how we respond to phone calls. We don't even think about it. But as soon as you pick the phone, if you look at our little kids in the house, when they just pick the phone, they're ready to answer. Say hello, hello. You see? So those are the kind of etiquette. It should be second nature to you. If you are writing an email, know how to start it. Don't just go and type, director, please, can I take off tomorrow? No, there's a way to write all that. All right? Be professional, polite, and concise when answering phones or emails. Not because your director send you an email, just go and say, Charles, can you do this for me tomorrow? Then you respond to the director, yes. Is that polite? No. Is that professional? No. You respond, oh, dear director, yeah, I think I'll be available tomorrow. So what time do you want me to do it? I can do it on this time. All right? Be concise, be polite, be professional. Follow facility policies on proper use of communication devices. You go to the job, they have computers there. You don't go and be shopping on those computers. Okay? You go, there's Wi-Fi on the job, very fast ones, high-speed Wi-Fi. And then instead of doing your trades, you'll be there watching YouTube. You'll be there watching, what is it? TikTok. Answering WhatsApp calls there. Watching Instagram. Is that what professionals do? The next point says avoid using facility technology for personal use. And I've preempted it already. Don't do it. All right? Don't do it. Be aware of the HIPAA and privacy concerns. All right. HIPAA, I'm going to give you, I think in the textbook, they have a lot of details of what they do and how they protect patient information and stuff. They don't play with those kind of things. Privacy is one of their major concerns. You cannot just do anything and think they will let you go free with it. No, there are consequences if you go that way. If you go that way, there are consequences. Because I can tell you that another concern created by advancing technology is the common availability of smartphones and other technologies. And these technologies enable employees to text, speak, email, and take photographs from almost anywhere, which you know. All right? So the concerns here about this high tech is that can we actually preserve the information of patients? So you see HIPAA comes in here, which is the HIPAA, and that you see the privacy concerns. That's Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. And confidentiality concerns can also become an issue of information captured in personal photos, which is what you've taken with your phones, and videos when it's shared outside the facility. So you see the concern here, that is not polite. That is not courteous. You can do that. All right? And to ensure compliance, review regulations and facility policies and ask questions as needed. So you don't use your cameras to get in trouble. Because we've seen how these high-tech cameras are bringing about troubles that we don't know that we're going to get in trouble. Don't use personal devices in ways that compromise infection control. Okay? Any questions? Any questions? All right. So another thing that you need to know is that when you play music on the job, you have to understand that some places they will tell you it's a no-no, don't do it. Okay. But here in the CS departments, they allow music to be played in the workplace. That's many departments like ours allows music to be played. But music can promote the reason they do that is that music can promote a more comfortable atmosphere and may make the working experience more enjoyable. But is it always like that? There are ways that it's going to make work not enjoyable. All right. And so they talk about the types of music that has to be played there, the volume. Okay. Music should be played on low volume if it's allowed there. The productivity of your people there must not be compromised by this music. The time spent like selecting, arranging, and changing music must be kept to the barest minimum so it doesn't affect productivity. Headsets and earphones. You see people with some gigantic headsets that cover all their ears. They don't hear anything from outside. You can't use that over there, even though you're allowed to listen to music. You can't do that. Okay? And for the sake of infection prevention and technology, phones and other personal technologies carried into these departments from outside sources may pose an infection prevention concern. Okay? So handling these items with clean hands may actually recontaminate your hands. You see, so you have to check with your department to see how they allow those things. If it's not allowed, you have to follow that. But if it's allowed, please keep it under the regulations that they have there so that it doesn't bring about recontamination. Okay? Any questions? One thing you also have to understand about human relations is that you cannot be successful unless you know how to get along with your supervisors, your peers, and your customers. That is for you. All right? Human relations skills are very necessary for you. Okay? You should be able to recognize each of your fellow employees as individuals and, when possible, incorporate them, all right, into what you're doing there. Understand what they're doing and what you're also doing. Contribute effectively and then develop a genuine spirit of cooperation with them. By effectively applying this kind of qualities, the HR qualities that we're talking of, you take responsibility, you act in a professional manner, you serve as a contributing member. That is what we want from you. All right? Promote cooperation and then accept full responsibility of your actions that you take there. And so you're being told what to do and what not to do. And that's why you should be able to accept your responsibilities up there. If anything goes wrong, please accept it. All right? There are behaviors that are a no-no at SPD, and that includes like refusing to follow directions. You can't do that. Being unwilling to adapt to change. You cannot do that. Demonstrating inconsistency and unreliable work behaviors it's a no-no. Engaging in gossip, I said it already. Failing to get along with your others, no, it's not. It must not happen there. Being dishonest, failing to complete assignments, making or contributing to excessive errors, no. Regularly missing work, that's absenteeism. You don't have to do that. And then abusing substances, that which I know none of you is in that. Because people that abuse substances cannot even live up to this expectation that you guys have right now, which I give credit to everyone here. So individuals must work as part of a team because the work they do relates directly to that being done by others. So work as a team because you guys are in the same boat doing the same thing. Teamwork is beneficial to the facility, okay, in so many ways. That improving productivity, increasing employee job satisfaction, and improving the work environment by creating a common purpose for staff members. And this decreases your job-related stress, which is a good thing for you. All right? There are several factors that must be present for teamwork. And that is something that your managers will have to help you to actually. But most of that, the most important one will be your attitude. You must have a good attitude towards teamwork. Any questions up to this point? Are you guys going to take a break or we should go on?
Go on, go on.
On.
All righty. So that is good. So we got to go on. All right. So music in the workplace, I've exhausted that already. Keep your volume low. Avoid headsets. Headsets that cover your whole ear. Avoid it. And those big bass jamming, boom, boom. Anyway, I have my own music that I play on the job. It's my own compositions in a way. But when I play it, I play it on the low, mostly in the decon. That's what I do. I put there's a speaker down there so that the music will be bashing on that speaker, which is my own recordings, though, my own productivity. All right. So I play my own Christian music, which I wrote, arranged, and produced. That's funny here, right? But that is real. That's the real thing I'm telling you. I have it. All right. So music, don't let music reduce focus on product or on your productivity. It's a good thing that you can play music there. If your place, if wherever you go, it's accepted, yeah, good. But please make sure it doesn't affect your productivity. So your human relations, treat each worker as an individual. I spoke about it already. Foster cooperation and teamwork across all levels. Accept responsibility, share knowledge, and support peers. Take ownership of your mistakes. Behaviors that impede success, I've told you about it. I'm not going to go over it because it's something that you know already. You can't ignore instructions. You can't be late. You cannot gossip, and you cannot be failing to complete assignments. You can do that. Back in Ghana, in school, if they give you an assignment and you're not able to do, what happens to you? They lash you. But here, you can't lash anybody. Back home, if you don't complete your assignment, they'll lash you and you go and complete it. All right. And I was so scared of that cane, so I never missed an assignment. Even when I'm sick, I want to go to school because I was scared of cane. There was one time my teacher went out and I was fooling around in the class. Not knowing this teacher came hiding in louvers, looking at the class. Said, oh, so he came in and said, okay, everybody stay where you are. I was caught in the middle. So he looked at everybody and started laughing. He said, this boy, Charles, is scared of the cane. But this is the first time I've had him, so I forgive everybody. You see? And that was so good for me. I'll never forget that. I don't know how I would have taken that cane. But that day I saved everybody. Okay. So the importance of teamwork comes in here. All our work is interconnected. Your performance affects others. Okay? If you don't do it right at the decon, those at the clean side will have to be bringing it back to you. back to you. Please check this. Please, this one is still dirty. This one is rusty. You have to do a good job there. It's interconnected. And if you don't do that, and it comes here to the other side, we are not also able to do the right thing and goes to the UR, it's going to come back. That's zero work done, and then your work is going to be more. Doing the same trace over and over. Poor teamwork can delay trace, impacting surgery and patient safety. We don't want that. The importance of teamwork is that it boosts productivity, which I've said already, job satisfaction and team morale, and it reduces workplace stress. You see, I've preempted this already. So keys to your successful teamwork is about cooperation and mutual trust, promptness and dependability, shared goals and active participation, respectful communication, and fair conflict resolution. There must be no favoritism there. Oh, this is my friend. Oh, I went to the same training or charisma CSPD, so maybe I should be in favor of this guy. No. Respectful communication and fair conflict resolution. If your friend is wrong, he's wrong. You all learn the same ethical standards. So if you went to on the job and he's doing time theft, he's wrong. Tell him he's wrong. Okay? Fair conflict resolution, not because he's from your area or maybe you are and you belong to the Islamic religion. He's also a Muslim. No, tell him, call the spade a spade. All right. Strong group identity with a focus on outcomes, not ego. Hey, me? No. Do you know me? I can do this, I can do that. No, forget about your ego there. Whatever you can do is up to you. But the point is, we need strong group identity. Make yourself belonging to that group. All right? And fit within that group. Don't single yourself out because of ego. Don't be too proud. Don't try to push in pride in there. No. We are all on the same platform. We are all on the same platform. All right? Are we all good up to this point? Are we good up to this point?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So now the types of work groups. The formal groups I've told you already. Just look at them as official groups. Okay? They are structured teams with specific leaders and roles. All right? They can say, oh, this is our decontamination team. But they are more official. That's why they say formal. They are formal, means they are more official. They are authenticated, like they have legal backing from the department. Okay? They have official backing. Informal groups are formed natural, like based on shared interest. Okay, maybe I'm on the job. I have interest in, I live in Queens and you also live in Queens and you drive to work. So I want to like do this carpool with you. Then we form an informal group there. We come to work together. That's an informal group. It's just based on shared interests, okay, or social needs. All right, do you all get that? So in this kind of group, we can support each other's morale. Fine. Maybe because you go to work early, that means I have to come to work early too because I want to join you. That's an informal group, but that works. But then we have to make sure that when we're in such informal groups, we should avoid negativity, okay, or the clique behavior. The clique behavior is a more of a negative behavior, and you don't want to go into that. All right? That is more of a negative behavior, which you don't want to associate yourself because you're joining him. If it's a late comer, don't join him. Let him go. All right? If he's a late comer, don't join him. Let him go so that you are not going to be late for work. If he goes to work on good time, fine, join him. That is good productivity. All right? So that's the difference between the official groups, which are formal groups, and then the non-official groups, which are informal groups. Any questions? So they are formed naturally, common interests, shared work experiences, emotional support. Fine. These groups can improve morale, but then also contribute to exclusion, cliques, and gossips. Okay? All right. Managing group dynamics. Managing group dynamics. This is something that is a whole broad topic that is done in the universities, group dynamics. All right? Strong leadership is based on focusing on the actual task, but not personal power. All right? So when you want strong leadership, it should encourage input and discussion. You have to avoid domination or like favoritism. It has to be out. All right? You have to avoid domination or favoritism. Effective teams here should know how their team operates and share responsibilities, and then rotate leadership when necessary. That is how to manage your group dynamics. Every group has formal and informal leaders. Strong leadership is based on focusing on the tasks, encouraging input, discussion, avoiding domination or favoritism. Effective teams know how their groups operate and share responsibilities, and so we rotate leadership when necessary. But when you have a group that doesn't want to rotate leadership, it becomes a dictatorship, and then problem starts up. People start bickering, and oppositions rise up, and there's a whole lot of mess that comes up. So with group dynamics, this is more of a guide. Okay, the group should know how their team operates and share responsibilities, and also rotate leadership. Everything in CS is interconnected, from sterilization to communication. Technical skills matter, but professionalism and interpersonal effectiveness determines your long-term success. So if you don't show your professionalism, you don't like have personal relations with other people, healthy ones, you cannot have a long-term success. So you have to aim to be the kind of professional who builds up the team, communicates clearly, leads by example, and serves the patient first. Can you do that? That is my question to every one of you. Can you do that? Are you going to build up a team? Are you going to communicate clearly? Are you going to lead by example? Are you going to serve the patient first? Who can answer this question? Are you going to do that?
Yes.
You're going to build up the team? Good
Yes.
one. See, this is what we want from you, especially me telling you this, and that is what I want, and that is what I do. I build up teams, I communicate clearly, I lead by example, I serve the patient first. There are times my colleagues will be still rushing to finish certain trades, and it's time for us to leave. I would have, maybe I'll be done with mine, but I have to wait for them and sit around and say, oh my God, why am I sitting around? I'm sitting around to show solidarity to them. All right? And I'm communicating clearly to them that I'm in support with what they are doing. If we all have to clock out late, fine. If they question us, we tell them, look, this was what happened, and we all had to clock out late. Okay? So even though I'm not leading directly, I'm just showing an example that, look, there has to be some teamwork. And we left late because we considered the patient first. So we had to make sure that instrument was ready so that by tomorrow morning, the first patient gets it as required or as needed. Okay? So informal groups and the grapevine. The grapevine has always been a problem. Can anybody tell me about the grapevine? The grapevine. Anybody knows anything about it? I think we have it defined in the book though. The grapevine. Okay.
About rumors?
Good, you see? Unhealthy rumors, right?
Yes.
Yes, unhealthy ones. Informal groups may form around shared breaks, shift times, carpools, and social interests. This can support team bonding, but may also spread rumors through the grapevine. And this means bad rumors. Undermine team cohesion if misused. Okay, the goal here is to encourage healthy, informal communication. Be at peace with your colleagues without harming the team morale. All right? So even though it's a good thing, it has its own bad side. So we are encouraging you to avoid the bad side, which is spreading rumors through the grapevine. Please avoid it. We will not stop you from making friends there, but avoid the grapevine. All right? Okay, so in decision making, this is what we were talking before. But then look at it this way. The cross-functional teams solve complex problems involving multiple departments. So your department, there's a problem maybe about, like last week, we had a situation whereby they kept bringing in a cataract instruments. And the problem was that they were sterile, they had indicators in there, they were wrapped nicely, but the problem was that the wraps were perforated. They have holes at specific areas. So they kept bringing them. That time the director was there at our department. They brought the first one. I gave them a new cutter. Then they brought the second one. I said, no, I have to look at this wraps carefully. So I had to spread both wraps and then actually envisage how that thing was happening. They're getting perforated. And what I realized was that these trays were large trays that usually we use a 45-inch sized squared wraps to wrap them. But we were right out of it. So at times they were using the 36 inches. So the 36 will wrap it, but it's going to be extra tight. Like other than using the 45, which makes it, you can wrap it loose and it's going to be good. So we were able to diagnose and find our issue right there that, it was because we're using the 36, which is not that good for this weight of instruments and how big the tray is, and then the perforations on the sides. It has sharp edges, and how we were supposed to wrap it without compromising the sterility or the parameters. Because if you wrap it, you put more linings on it before wrapping, it will mean that your dry time will have to increase. But we have to do it in a way that we don't even compromise with the sterility or the parameters. All right, so we found a way out, and then we decided, hey, this time, this is how we're going to do it. No more 36 for this instrument. We're going to use the 45 with just one lining in it, which means that our parameter still stays the same, 270 for 4 minutes and 30 minutes dry. Okay? So you see how we solved this problem? They brought it from the OR. We changed it, we gave them what they wanted, and then we took it over to investigate it and get it solved. So you see that 2 departments have taken care of this job to correct a mistake, an error that was bringing about instruments getting to the OR in a way compromised, because the instrument must get there without perforation on the wraps. Okay, any questions? So this involved the OR and the CS identifying a root cause. All right. So what does it do? It encourages shared ownership. We are all in the same boat, as I keep saying, and creative problem solving. How to put those two wraps, spread the two, look at the position, the exact positions of those perforations, and then envisage the tray being on it. So we had to put the tray on it practically to see why was this happening at this very point. And we realized that there were perforations there. So when it's very tight, those sharp edges will actually perforate or make holes in the wrap. All right. So that was a shared ownership and creative problem solving. We didn't have to wait for experts to come in and check all that before we know that the 36-inch wrap was causing that problem. All right. And the sharp edges. So we found a solution to it. Okay. Inclusive decision making improves outcomes and interdepartmental relationships. That is what we just did. Any questions? Okay, so we're gonna go. Today I have to give you guys, I think, so long as I'm not speeding, we are fine, but I think I'm gonna give you more free time today, because you guys have been very good in my classes. I don't know if it's just that you understand, that's why you're so quiet and understand everything and being so good in my class. So today I'm gonna give you more free time. I'm gonna exhaust this thing early enough for you to get enough free time. If the director doesn't keep you guys holding. So I hope he doesn't have any long announcements to make, but we're gonna get it more time. We are past half of it, and we are going to be good. Okay. So experience and years alone is not enough to show your true value. Okay. You must be learning as you are there, taking good part of everything. But experience counts. All right. So being there for long and continuously learning should give you the experience that you need. But just being there alone and not learning is not going to help you. You need ongoing learning and adaptability. Get used to the system and get yourself immersed in it. Okay? Using past insight to avoid repeated mistakes. That's what we need to do. That's what we just did with that sterile issue that was coming with perforations. All right? We looked at it and said that we don't have to repeat that. So we're going to start using only the 45, not the 36. All right? Experienced staff should mentor newcomers and model professional behavior. Live by example. So these people that have been there before have to show you the way. by showing you good behavior there, demonstrating it. All right? You have to support new team members. New hires often experience anxiety, which you see it. Uncertainty, it's a normal thing for any normal human being. And desire for acceptance. Don't worry about your acceptance. You'll be accepted. When I left education, I went to health. I was as green as anything in health. In healthcare, I was as green as anything. I had all this anxiety, all this uncertainty, and desire for acceptance. But I fitted in. The anxiety disappeared. The uncertainty just dissolved. And then I was accepted. Right now, you go there, you say, Charlie, anybody, an old man, let me tell you a funny story. An old man that was a travel nurse came in there, and I didn't know he was watching me. So one day I met him in the locker room. He said, Charles? I said, yes. What is happening? And I said, what is happening? He said, when I grow up, I want to be like you. I said, what? He said, yes. I want to be like you when I grow up. So I cracked up and I was laughing. He said, oh, I'm saying that because anywhere I see you, you are working. There's always work for you. So, and I like that. You see? So imagine that. I've been accepted, right? All the departments. So look at somebody not in my department saying this to me. Because I'm well accepted there. Okay? It will happen. It will happen to you. So long as you take this training serious and practice it that way. Okay, any questions? We expect the veterans to offer guidance and empathy for you, like put themselves in your shoes to see how you are nervous on the beginning, from the beginning. But the point is, everybody was like that. So don't think that you are abnormal. It's normal. Take it and it will disappear as you go. Be bold. All right? They're supposed to offer guidance and empathy. So ask them questions. They're supposed to help create a welcoming environment. If they are whoever is hostile, ignore that person. Your supervisor will never be hostile because he needs to welcome you in there. All right? So you know what to do. They will help you ask questions. And then they have to give you orientation programs and helpful. But peer support is key. All right? One-on-one. There was a student that I always use practical examples because I want a better understanding. I went to a program when I came here. I did accounting. I met a student in the school who had been in that same class for almost 3 semesters. He can't just pass accounting. So my instructor said, Charlie, I think you can help this guy pass accounting. I said, how? That's my classmate. And he said, yes, he's been in this class for almost 3 semesters. So what I want you to do is, I want you to register as a peer tutor. I'm going to take you there. They'll register you as a peer tutor, and then you work with him. So I said, okay, fine. So long as I'm going to be paid as a peer tutor, fine. He took me there. I was registered as a peer tutor just to take care of this classmate. So I sat with him, accounting one-on-one, telling him this, do this. These are the types of accounts. It's only 6 accounts in the whole of this earth. When we talk of types of accounting, it's only 6 accounts that we have. So I gave him that these ones have negative entries, these ones have positive entries. That was what was killing this guy. That was what he never knew. And trust me, that very semester, this guy had 75% and passed. You see? He had 75% and passed. So that is the thing. You need that peer friendship. Because there are certain times the lecturers will be too high for you. Your peers will give you a better understanding. All right? So always forge that bond. That guy will never forget me, and I'll never forget him. And the professor kept calling me, Charlie, you are rather the professor, not me. Because I've struggled with this guy for 3 semesters and he could never pass accounting. He did it just one semester that I was doing peer tutoring with him. And he did it good with 75, which was the best he could ever get. All right? So you could do your best with your peers. Any questions? Okay. So now we're talking about embracing diversity in our department. I've told you that in New York, when you walk even 2 blocks, go to Times Square, walk from 42nd Street to 44th Street. You meet any human being you can imagine on this earth. Skin color, height, size, everything. Right or wrong? Does anybody have a different experience at Times Square? Anybody with a different experience at Times Square? You meet any human being that you can think of on this earth. Right or wrong? So you have to understand that anywhere you go on this earth, you have to embrace diversity. Don't sit down and say that your culture is the best or the kind of humans that you are the best. No. age, gender, culture, education, family status, religion, everything. You're going to meet everything. But then that is what we call diversity. But then you have to embrace it. There are people that are not like you, but they are humans like you, and they have the same rights that you have. They have the same thinking that you think. They have the same blood that you have. All right? You are not better than them. They are not better than you. Embrace diversity. All right? Age, you're going to age too. They were all born like you were born. Gender, good. Culture, yes. Education. Somebody is a doctor, yes. Somebody is an accountant, yes. Somebody didn't even go to school, yes. But he needs the same recognition as you. He needs the same inclusivity as you, right? Because he eats food like you, he needs to get his food to eat. When he's sick, he needs health care, just like you, all right? So you have to embrace diversity. The benefits of this thing is that it brings about improved job satisfaction. It reduces turnover and absenteeism because everybody feels like family. I tell you about this lady that was being transferred. She's on leave and she may not come back to our side. She'll be going to a different unit. And she came to me crying. I said, what is wrong? I said, Charlie, I'm starting leave tomorrow. And he said, is it a cry business to start leave? I said, no, the point is I'm not coming back here after my leave. You see, she felt at home. She felt like family. So leaving there was very, very painful. It was a side event for her. Okay. So that is it. You have to fit in there, make everybody comfortable, and it's going to improve your job satisfaction. It's going to reduce the turnover and absenteeism. You always feel like you should go to work, and everybody feels the same. It brings about better teamwork. I don't want to work with this person, and because it's this, I don't want to work with. No, there must be teamwork where you can work with anybody. I told you how my director came to the deacon. I was a deacon. He said, Charlie, I think you love working in the deacon. It's not about loving to be there, but it's about teamwork. I should feel that, okay, there's some job satisfaction here. I should be able to work anytime, anywhere. All right? Better teamwork, problem solving, and creativity. That's what you're going to be pushing out there. So embrace diversity, and that will bring all this out of you. Every employee brings unique value. Okay? And that's why all diversity matters. Any question? All right, now we're talking about our customer service essentials. Customers, surgeons, nurses, clinicians, patients, vendors. That's from us. Those are our customers. So good service from us means that we're going to provide safe, high quality products for these customers, right? And how do we do this? We do this by being courteous, professional, and responsive to their needs. Even brief interactions leave lasting impressions on them, right? So that's what you have to ensure. And then the keys to an outstanding service are that personalized interactions, call people by names, use their names where possible, all right? Stay composed, especially under pressure. That is one important thing. Don't break down under pressure. Stay composed. Let them know that you are confident and you know whatever you are telling them and whatever you are doing in there. Stay composed. Communicate clearly and honestly. I remember I told you about a doctor that came to the deacon telling me, these are my instruments. I need to take them home. Please clean them for me. I'm waiting for it. I said, okay, sir. This is the procedure here. It's at the deacon now. I have to take care of it. Washing it is going to take me maybe another 15 minutes. I have to put in the washer for you, which is the washer disinfector is going to take at least 29 to 36 minutes. And after it comes out, it's going to be very hot. Because it's around 180 degrees when it comes out. So that will mean I'll have to open it for another 10 minutes. So when we add it up, you need to give me at least 2 hours to get it to the other side. And from that side, it's going to be safe to handle. Yeah, thank you, sir. I guess I have to wait. All right. So the doctor had to wait for it. So after 2 hours, he came and it was ready. They wrapped it for him to take home so that next time he can bring it. All right. That was what he wanted. He was not going to use it right there, but he wanted to take it with him. Because that was his tray. Okay, those were his instruments. All right, so communicate clearly and honestly to them. And then follow up, ask for feedback, and continuously improve yourself. Be self-disciplined and show maturity, and that drives your customer trust. They will trust you. Any questions? Any questions? So we have a critical partnership with the operating room or the OR. This is a critical partnership because we are their sole suppliers of instruments. No instrument goes there without coming through us. So we must function as a unified team. And I like this word that they put up here, as a unified team. No instrument will go into the OR without going through the SPD. They cannot do it. It must go through the SPD because that is the most sterile place in the hospital. So from there, it goes to another sterile field where it's going to get contaminated though, but then it has to reach that place uncompromised. Okay? So it's a critical partnership. There must be a unified team. We have to share success, which will depend on the mutual trust that we have. There should be consistent or continuous communication, understanding each other's pressures and workflows. If there's a patient in there and there's an instrument that is missing, what happens? They are not the only people taking the pressure. You're also taking the pressure. Wherever you can find an instrument, you have to find it. And they have to get it to the OR. So we see that we are in the same boat, as I keep saying, to understand each other's pressures and workflows. Show appreciation, build relationships, not just responses. Okay? Any questions? Handling customer complaints, that's service recovery. And in the book, I think they gave you an actual definition of what they meant about service recovery. It is the sequence of steps used to address the customer complaints and problems in manner that yields, okay, a win-win situation for customer and the department. So no one loses in this case. So what steps are we going to take to get a win-win situation for both the customer and us? That's service recovery. Okay, that's what it involves the steps to resolve complaints effectively. All right, acknowledge the customer. These are the steps they're telling you to do. You must acknowledge the customer. Don't just be rude or just trash them. No, acknowledge the customer and then listen actively and calmly. You don't go there and be screaming and yelling at the customer. Ask clarifying questions. Empathize. Put yourself in his or her shoes. He is sick or she is sick. She's coming for a surgery or something. So anything that you're saying, put yourself in his shoes. How do you think she feels right there or he feels right there? In pain, in discomfort. So listen actively and calmly. That gives him or her the impression that, okay, you are in control, you are in charge, you know what you're doing, you know what you're saying. He should trust you. All right. So you ask clarifying questions, then empathize, and then accept responsibility. If there was something that was short, tell, okay, yeah, sure, we agree to this, we accept it. That's also a mistake. It's never going to happen, but we're going to resolve it this way and make sure we get the right results that you expect. Right? Avoid blaming my subordinate this. This guy, he is a problem. He always does this. Don't apportion blame at that point. Avoid blame. Okay? Don't say, oh, the OR staff did it. They didn't have to drag this thing. They just dragged it on the cart. And then no. Avoid blame and offer a solution and timeline. Well, this is gonna be fixed in the next 10 minutes. Okay, give us 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. I need to get to this point and do this in the next 10 minutes. You get your response. This will be fixed. All right. Offer a solution and timeline. Follow up and learn from the incident. All right. So after that point, after offering the solution, if I was in that situation, I would take the action and do whatever I was expecting. If I need to go get a tray from somewhere, I'm not delegating it at that point. I'm going to get the tray myself to make sure I'm getting the tray and it's coming to the OR in the specified time that I promised them. All right? So you offer a solution and timeline and then follow up and learn from the incident. What is this problem solved? This is what we call the service recovery. Steps that you are going to follow to have a win-win situation. Any questions? Any question? All right. So Setting priorities and adapting to change. When faced with multiple tasks, ask what's urgent. All right? It's like you are prioritizing at that point. Which one is urgent? I'm faced with 3 things to do. Which one is most important right now? Which one has the shortest time frame that has to be done? What helps the team? Is this thing going to help us? Is it our job? Is it our responsibility? What will leadership prioritize? If the leaders were doing this, will they do it the same way that I'm going to do? So you say that, okay, if my leadership will not prioritize this, that is not a priority for me. But if they will, it is your priority too, okay? All right. So I think director is going somewhere. He's going to meet us next week. So we're going to continue. We are just almost done. So we will be good to for next week. So director, we see you next week. All right. So guys, what helps the team? If it helps the team, it's a priority. What will leadership prioritize? If they will prioritize that, we have to. Priorities may shift unexpectedly. Example, trauma cases. Those are in specific cases. But the point is, as you work there, you get used to the culture there, and you know how and when some priorities may shift. All right? All of a sudden, a patient has been returned. He had surgery yesterday, and he has been returned today, and you had other people an add-on or an adjustment that was waiting. What is going to happen there? They may call for immediate shift to take care of the patient that has been brought back, maybe because of bleeding or something. The adjustment, the eye adjustment, may not be as urgent as the bleeding. So they can actually bring about an unexpected shift. But that is what the work is about. All right? And doesn't happen all the time, sometimes, yeah. So you have to be flexible. Always put patient safety first. In this case, the eye adjustment and the one that was bleeding from the surgery, one patient was more at a more risk than the other. So the patient safety is first. Are we all okay with that? And there are times that you go to the job and you experience this morning shift blaming afternoon shift for some problem, afternoon shift blaming the night shift for this problem. Avoid shift conflicts. When they say it, that at my job, I always I give you good examples from my job, okay? At my job right there. When we go in the in the afternoon, I used to go for the afternoon shift. When I go in the afternoon, what you hear from the morning people is, you afternoon people don't do anything. You guys don't do what the trays that we leave, we come and beat the trays. Okay. And then the evening people, when we are also leaving, we come in the morning and tell them, you guys don't do anything. Look at this trays that we left here. It's still here. Forgetting that when they come, they have quick tests to do in the morning. There could be shifts that they have to change and take care of other cases. Imagine that. So we always do that. But at our end, it has become a joke. Not the conflict. It has become a joke. So when we go, the first thing we tell the morning guys, you guys don't do anything. Look at this trace here. And when they come in the morning, they also say, you guys, you didn't do anything. We left you with this trace and they're still here. Okay? It's just a joke there. So we don't even have those shift conflicts. Because when they say it, we look at it and listen to it just as they say it, because we say the same thing to them. But in some places, it's really shift wars. All right? Morning shift say, oh, they didn't do this. We're going to leave it for them to this. It must not happen. If the group is doing it, don't just offend your group members. But the point is, don't be part of it. All right? Don't be part of it. Don't encourage it. Avoid shift wars or comparisons between these teams. For especially the night shift, they are a lot of times they are under pressure to get things ready before morning. For some cases, start as early as 6 in the morning. All right? And they have to test all these machines. Some have to be tested 3 times if there's a steam shut off. All right? If each one takes 45 minutes, it means you need at least 3 hours to do all these 3 tests on one machine before you can start even sterilizing instruments. So we have to make sure that before this 3-hour test, everything is set for the first 2 cases. If the first 2 cases take an hour and a half each, it means you have 3 hours gate here, a 3 hours gap to be able to do all this testing and catch up with any instrument that was needed. All right? Then a lot of times we have all the instruments for the day set. But if there are turnovers whereby an instrument has to go for quick turn, there should be that 3-hour gap to take care of it. Each shift has unique duties and challenges, which is true. You will learn as you go there. Respect all work groups. Effective communication between shifts ensures that there's continuity. Sometimes I leave a tag on an instrument and this instrument must be cooked immediately, which means it was needed for the morning, but we couldn't finish it. Maybe it came in late, or it came from another source that we had to like reprocess it. So as soon as you guys come after the testing, it has to be the first instrument to cook. All right? There should be continuity. Focus on the shared goal, quality patient care. Any questions? Any questions? Promise to leave you guys at 5 today. Disaster preparedness in the CS. Emergencies demand readiness. Okay, as I told you before, whenever I go to work, I always have my PPE set with my mask and everything. I don't wait for me to be called to the OR to say that, oh, I'm going to the OR, so let me put on a mask. I always have my PPE on when I get there. I have everything on, my scrubs, everything. Unless I'm in the clean side, when I come, I go to the decon and put everything on straight. When I come to the clean side, I always have my mask on too with my scrubs and my headgear and my gloves, so that if I'm called to the OR, I don't have to put anything else on. I'm ready for the OR. All right? So emergency demand readiness. Review disaster plans, which we have it at our jobs. Keep contact info current. Who to call? If your number changes, update it right away, quick. Make personal backup arrangements, such as your kids. If anything happens, who should we call? All right, you should have it. Stay calm, professional, and focused when there's a disaster at the job or an emergency, whether it's you or somebody. All right, stay calm, professional, and focused. Never share patient information outside the facility. Confidentiality is critical. I promise I'm going to leave you guys after by 5 o'clock, right? Here we are, the conclusion. Technical knowledge alone is insufficient for you, okay? That is not sufficient for you, just the technical knowledge. No, that's why I give you a lot of practical examples. Practical examples, because the technical knowledge alone is not enough for you to be a good tech or a good professional. Effective communication, interpersonal skills, teamwork, and professionalism are essential for job performance and patient care in healthcare settings. Are we all good with that?
Yes.
Any questions? Any questions? No questions? I promise you I was going to leave you at 5 today. And thanks to God, we'll be able to make it up to this point. We've done all our 43 slides. And the last slide says, thank you. See you next week.
Oh, thank
guys?
you. Thank you.
All righty. So in the absence of
Thank you.
any announcements, I'm going to let you guys go and we'll meet same time Saturday. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty.
All right.